I've made some weird dating choices in my life, but by far the weirdest was deciding to go on a first date days after learning that my mom's experimental trial for her brain cancer wasn't working and she had at most months left to live. In fairness to my younger self, I had a lot of time on my hands and I was desperate for distractions because my dad had told me not to come back home until we really knew how quickly the cancer was progressing. And I didn't have a job at the time to occupy my work week because about a year prior, I had decided to uproot my life in New York City to move back home to Kansas to be a primary caregiver for my mom. So I met this guy named Landon on Grindr and we decided to get lunch at my favorite spot in the West Village. I had told him about what was going on in my life so he wasn't blindsided. And even though he was a couple years younger than me, he revealed that he had already lost his mom, which made me feel a lot less uncomfortable about the idea of sitting down with a stranger and talking about life. As much as we tried to discuss the regular conversational topics, we always kept coming back to death and grieving. I kept thinking about how the people who were sitting next to us must have been super confused because it was evident that it was our first time meeting each other, but we were talking about the most serious things. About midway through the date, my mom called me and I stepped outside to answer because at that point I realized that my ability to talk to her was finite. We ended up chatting for about 12 minutes. Normally, that would be a deal breaker to leave a date alone for that period of time, but Landon was completely understanding because of anyone, he knew the value of being able to talk to your mom. I didn't end up including this in my book, Losing Linda May, a Cancer Caregiving Memoir, on January 9th because it really wasn't essential to the narrative. And even though Landon and I saw each other a few more times after this, we ended up parting ways because I just was not ready to have a serious relationship or really be dating at all. We still follow each other on social media though, and he seems very happily married, so everything worked out for him. And at the time, I really appreciated being reminded that I could still be found desirable even though I had the cloud of death looming over me.